In television, a look back at the best of television 1981 with your host Lee Remick, Robert Guillaume, and Dick Cavett, and starring James Coburn, Michael Conrad, Tony Danza, Pam Dauber, Danny DeVito, Morgan Fairchild, Mary Lou Henner, Howard Hessman, Judd Hirsch, Bob Hope, Andy Kaufman, Christopher Lloyd, Pamela Sue Martin, Donna Mills, Sarah Purcell, Telly Savalas, Daniel J. Travanti. A look at television's first generation of male stars and their return to the small screen in a big way. Frank Sinatra and Count Basie in a magical moment of music. All the drama of this year's best television movies and how well they did. A rare conversation with the Dean of America's newsmen, Walter Cronkite. Television news covers man's soaring achievements and some closer to the ground. Television's newest battleground, a late-night arena. They're taking chances and it's taking off. Television at its best, its funniest, and its most dramatic. All here on the 3rd annual TV Guide Special, 1981, the year in television. Ladies and gentlemen, Lee Remick.
Thank you. Thank you, and good evening, and welcome to this year's look at television, a scene through the pages of TV Guide magazine. Tonight, we'll look back at some of television's outstanding moments you might have missed in 1981, as well as see once more some of those special ones you enjoyed a lot. We'll look at some of television's triumphs and some of its failures, at its past and its future. Right now, I'm standing very much in the present, as you can see from this doorway. This is the entrance to Captain Frank Furillo's office, where weekly pass the cops of what many have called last year's biggest triumph, Hill Street Blues. Tonight we'll visit the Hill Street station and get a pretty good idea of what goes on there through my co-host and one of television's brightest stars, Dick Cavett.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Miss Remick. By the way, in our business, it's always good to know how to drive one of these. But if I were to step out of a cab on New York's Fifth Avenue, no one would make a television connection necessarily. But if I get out of this cab right in the middle of your television screen, you might automatically think about Alex Rieger and his group of cabbies who appear weekly on the hit comedy series Taxi. The television screen, as you may know, does strange things to ordinary objects, and tonight we'll be looking at just what an extraordinary taxi this one is. And if television is a medium of the familiar, then perhaps there are a few stars with whom audiences have become more familiar in the past few seasons than my co-host tonight, the star of Benson, Robert Guillaume.
Television may be best known by its series stars, those who come to visit weekly. But a combination of factors helped make 1981 a year when many of its most memorable moments didn't involve networks, series, or stars. The exploding technology of cable television, video cassettes, and computers gave new meaning to the word video. And some one-time only events, some planned, some unplanned, gave viewers some expected thrills and some unexpected ones. Tonight, we'll be taking a look at many of them. And of course, we'll have some talented and interesting people to help us. So, we hope you'll join us as we present this, the 3rd annual TV Guide Special, 1981, the year in television.
It would be difficult to look at the year 1981 and not remember this moment in January when the eyes of the world had to focus on two simultaneous events. As momentous were the events taking place that day, it was the way cable news network chose to reprise them at day's end that helped us decide to present it on tonight's show.
I, Ronald Reagan, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States.
that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States.
So help you God.
So help me God.
I had received word officially for the first time that the aircraft carrying the 52 American hostages had cleared Iranian airspace on the first leg of a journey home, and that every one of the 52 hostages was alive, was well, and free.
They were the two romantic events of the year. One couple, the royalty of a country plagued with strikes, urban problems, economic collapse. The other, a product of our times, living a modern life with modern problems. But for 2 days this year, they made us forget our problems, our worries, and our concerns. In fact, more people watched the American couple than had ever watched a soap opera on television before. And the ratings of the British couple's wedding were amazing, considering people had to get up at 3 a.m. to watch them tie the knot. They are, of course, Charles and Diana, and Luke and Laura. Not exactly Bob and Carol and Ted and Alice. But for the 80s, they gave romance a pretty good send-off.
I, Charles Philip Arthur George,
take thee, Laura Weber Baldwin, to be my wedded wife.
to have and to hold from this day forward,
For better, for worse,
for richer,
For poorer,
to love and to cherish, until death do us part.
I pronounce that they are husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.